Converted Man here. Oh, yes, it's that time. That time where I find a thing that somebody said and complain about it. So, of course, it's SJ Thompson. But this time he's joined by this guy called Travis Jackson, whose Twitter profile includes miniature writer, master of useless information, and autistic. Okay. Um, so they were SJ was talking about universal health care, and I don't know. That's politics. Whatever. I don't know if we could afford it as a nation. Then again, maybe we can't afford not to do it. I don't know how much that would clog up the hospital system potentially. There's pros and cons to it. I don't know. But it doesn't matter ultimately because I don't have the answers, and even if I did, politicians aren't going to listen to me anyway. So, anyways, but what happened in the tweet was, you know, that Travis decided to say that natural remedies, alternative medicines, and holistic medicine need to be considered. Chiropractic work saves a lot of people from taking pain pills. Now, I have on my screen here this nice little bell curve. And I wanted to demonstrate to Travis the problem, one of many, that he's having in asserting what he's asserting, which he might not be aware of. Maybe he is and doesn't care. I don't know. I hope not. But here's the bell curve. Okay, so let's just say, of course, then we could add healthy, in here as well. But at any rate, you're sick, you're dead, you're alive. And there's, all states in between. You might be a little bit very sick. You might be, oops, man, I can't do this live. You might be, very healthy. You might be, very dead. So you're going to land in here, okay? And due to the amount of people that there are in the world, and there's, a million, zillion, however many people there are, you're going to wind up in one of these categories. So if you try scientifically tested health medicines and treatments, we know that on the average, according to the bell curve, you're going to land more often than not in the healthy section. Now, a very few people will land in the unhealthy section, and even a smaller amount will die. But the science shows an overarching trend this way when you have actual science behind it, because you track the humans, you track the treatments, you track how well they're doing, you track the amount of medication, their side effects, and you use all that data and you correlate all of that, and you go, okay, for the most amount of people in here in the healthy spot, they took X medicine. X medicine got them healthy from the sick state, and therefore that medicine is probably good. Yes, that medicine might have some people that get sick and some people that die, but we want to make that optimally zero and optimally as small as possible. Now, here's the problem when you don't have science. Okay, so when you don't have science, you go, okay, well, my body can recover on its own regardless of any medication that I take or anything that I do for that matter. My body might recover on its own naturally because your body can heal itself with your own internal mechanisms. So the amount of people that can do that successfully from whatever their sickness is, or this might also be injury, it doesn't have to be sick, it could also just be hurt, or whatever. And HU or D. Wow, this is a great graph now. Okay. But the amount of people that get better on their own is going to be somewhere over here. It's going to be a small amount of people. It's not going to be that many people, but there's going to be enough that by chance alone, you'll know somebody that got better without doing anything, and is therefore, well, I mean, I guess if you're alive, hopefully you're healthy, but those two don't necessarily. I mean, alive could be here. It doesn't matter. Anyways, but alternatively, your own body's mechanisms might fail, and you might go the other way. And the amount of people that do that probably over here somewhere, and the likelihood that you know one of those people is about the same. It's just that your brain tends to remember the hits and not the misses. So what your brain does is it says, "Oh, I know this person and they did absolutely nothing, but they got better. Therefore, doing nothing will make you get better." And it tends to forget about that person that you knew that died because they didn't do anything that got them better. It's like they did nothing and they died. And man, well, I mean, what did they expect? They should have gone to the doctor. And your brain will probably forget about it because most brains do that. Just that's how our brains work. But it gets worse. When you have untested medicine, you might land anywhere in this, anywhere at all. You might land here, 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 here. You don't know. You might be sick. You might stay sick. You might regain health. You might become sicker. And the problem is where you land is a big, giant, random question mark. Because your own body might cure itself on its own without, doesn't matter that you took something, doesn't matter that you got whatever that treatment was. It doesn't matter if you poked something in your arm or, licked a stone or held some magical crystals or whatever else you did. Your body might have, without that, on its own, gotten better anyways, or it might get worse on its own. So here's the thing: the people that promote crystals, they're never going to say that they do bad because they want to sell you the crystals. They're only going to say, "Hey, it does good. Look at all the people that did crystals and got healthy. Wow!" Because we only pay attention to the positive results. So you might know any number of people that have tried whatever nonsense, non-scientific medicine that got better. Great, wonderful. And you happen to also know no one that got worse because of it. Well, you only know the people from this category. You haven't observed this category, but there are a lot of people in this category that stay sick or die because of alternative medicine. But those promoting alternative methods aren't going to mention them because they want to make money. They want to distrust the system of science, which is repeatable, confirmable, testable, safer, and sound based on logical reasoning, which none of the things that are not based on science are. So you are probably going to wind up dead eventually if you keep taking alternative medicine, which is just another way to say it hasn't been scientifically tested. So, all right. Now let me share the tweet so I can keep reading from that and complaining about it, because that's what I want to do here. Okay. So I said alternative is a nice way to say it's not been tested or demonstrated to be anything good in humans. It might be bad. Chiropractic work can also be based on woo, buyer beware. Now, in chiropractic, there is a lot of woo that is believed in chiropractic that is not supported by anything at all. There's lots of things about that out there that you can look at and see and all that. There are some chiropractors who don't believe that stuff that practice anyways, but it's really kind of simple to become a chiropractor, and whether or not it works isn't really shown to be a thing yet. That is to say, it's not demonstrably demonstrated as a science. Why it's still allowed to be practiced, I I don't know. I honestly don't. Lobbyist would be my guess. But at any rate, some people report this is the only thing that's ever helped them, and they've tried everything else, or they don't want to do medication. Well, okay, cracking your bone into place or popping it might make it feel better for a while, but then if you're going back again, did they really fix the problem? No, they treated it. So, at best, you're just doing something rather expensive that isn't scientifically tested, and they might wind up hurting you more because maybe they pop it in the wrong way and they break your back, snap your spine, wreck you in some other way. And that's happened. People have gone to their chiropractor and had their necks broken, which doesn't mean you're dead immediately, but it might paralyze you. So yeah, it's buyer beware if you go to the chiropractor because it's not tested by science. It's kind of a sketchy area. For the other stuff, it's all based on whoop. All the other non-scientifically based medicine is just belief and superstition, pretty much. But of course, he responds that it did wonders for him, an appeal to one, after he was involved in car crash, and it helped him out later too. Whoopee doo, that's an appeal to one. Doesn't mean anything. You're a little teeny tiny dot on the graph of the bell curve. Just because Western medicine hasn't tested or demonstrated something doesn't mean that it won't work or is bad for you. But you have no idea if it won't work or that it is bad for you if you've done no testing on it. And it doesn't matter if it's west, east, left, up, down. I don't care where it's from. If you don't have a test, you don't know. Doesn't Western medicine is not omniscient. Yeah, but again, if it's I'm not talking about West. I don't know why he's doing this, but if it's tested, then we know at least that it's worked or failed X amount of times thanks to the test. If it hasn't been tested, we don't know diddly or squat about it. So it's not, you know, Western medicine. It's medicine that's been scientifically tested and verified to work. Still Western medicine. As if that negates anything. Woo! I don't know. This guy, I don't know what's wrong with him. It doesn't know everything. True, sure. Scientifically testing stuff doesn't mean we know everything. But it means that we know about the stuff that we tested. I'm not the only one that's benefited from chiropractic work. Numerous people have. Yeah, sure, they're on that bell curve. But you know what? How many people have not benefited? Did you look that up? Did you look at the numbers and compare them? Well, I doubt it. Why would you? You already believe it works. So why would you verify whether it works or not? And then if it's scientifically been tested, which chiropractic has been, and the science kind of goes, yeah, we don't know that it hurts or helps, but it can hurt maybe more, so we advise against it. And you go, well, I'm going to take the risk anyways. Well, that's on you. That's why I said buyer beware. So you don't know if it works or doesn't work because science has come to an inconclusive result on it. So then basing it on, well, but these people said it worked. Yeah, science recognized that a certain amount of people said it worked. So would have done nothing or getting a basic massage might have worked. Who knows? What we do know is that we don't know because the results are vague or unverified. So if you do it, it's a gamble. It might help you, but it might hurt you. So if it had hurt you, then you wouldn't be saying it. You wouldn't be promoting. You'd be like, yeah, I had chiropractic and it messed me up, man. So I'd advise against it. because it didn't work for me, and a bunch of people it didn't work for. But that would still be bad logic because it's still an appeal to a minority of one, and still an appeal to people that you happen to know. What matters is, can you show the data on it? And when it comes to the data on particularly chiropractic, what I've seen about it, read about it, says it's it 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 can be it's inconclusive, but that it more than likely can harm you. It seems to be a lot of warnings and red flags and asterisks to those scientific conclusions, and that the part of it that's connected to your chakras and woo like that obviously isn't science and has no support for it. So if your chiropractor believes in that full, I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't give them money. But again, it's up to you, and you got to know what the questions are to ask, and you're taking your livelihood into your own hands when you go to that. But for some people, they will take that risk. Again, who knows if something else would work better, but whatever. Okay. Um. So okay, yeah. If people can solve the problem naturally, they should instead of an opioid. Yeah, well, opioids are way too powerful as a form of medication. That's a problem. Yes. Do they work? Oh yeah, they'll knock out any pain that you have. But it's kind of overkill. And also, of course, they're addictive. So be careful. Um, Naturally, well, opioids are from nature, so yeah, they are natural, but I guess what you want to say is synthetic. Aspirin is pretty natural, comes from aspen trees originally, but we've refined it over time, and now I don't know if they still use any of the tree from it. But at any rate, you know, a lot of medications are safer and will work, but it's just pain is hard to treat. It just is. Uh, you know, they could go in there and hypothetically cut the nerve to that pain receptacle, but finding somebody willing to do that would be really hard because there's all sorts of possible uh, problems with that. So if you can find something that is safe to do and something that has a study to back up that it's done, then grow with that. Whether it's natural or man made is irrelevant. If it works and you can know that it works or know that it works to at least a higher degree of certainty than a guessing game, then go with that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your health, and you have to decide if you're willing to gamble on your health on something untested or on something tested. I'd rather go with tested. Something about kratom. I don't care about that. Whatever. There's a documentary on Netflix. Yeah, whatever. I'm skip that. Look into the keto diet. Yeah, whatever. I mean, has a nutritionist gone over what's in the keto diet? What are the scientific studies? Oh, who cares? Um, so that's it. That's the end of that nonsense. That and I said something else at some point to it. Now, so that's that. That's what set me off. This is dangerous medical advice, but why should we be surprised? Last time, SJ Thomason said that Christianity could cure depression. Oh, I mean that it can help with depression. I didn't mean that it was an actual cure. I just meant that I know people that said that they were depressed and then became Christian, and then their depression went away. Uh, Even though I didn't know that they were actually depressed and what they meant by depression, and goes on. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so it shouldn't surprise us that somebody who believes in woo believes in more woo. But you, atheist, agnostic, you might happen to believe in this particular woo because once you go down that rabbit hole of well, this medication or this treatment has worked for the guy or gal I know, that already is a placebo effect in your brain that suggests to your brain that this will work. But base it off of the data of what you know to work because the science has been done. And that's not Western or Eastern or any other category. It's simply what's been tested. Acupuncture, no result. In fact, can actually harm you because what good does poking yourself with needles do? Well, it's all based around Shai Kui and energy and the flow of your body and all this other nonsense that has absolutely no bearing in reality whatsoever. And the map of the body and its areas of chi are different, and the one you pick depends on which one you think is right. Like there's three different main ones and probably a number more of non-traditional main pathways, but they're completely arbitrary. But yes, the placebo effect in and of itself is very powerful. If you just believe something can help you, it will because the power of your brain, at least to some extent, it will, or you'll think that it helps you for a while it might. But the nocebo effect also needs to be considered where if you think something will hurt you and you do it, then your brain might think it's hurting you. And it will for at least a while because of the nocebo effect. So why not go with science and go, okay, this thing has been shown to be work, and I get to believe that it works. So I have the placebo effect, and I have the knowledge that it's going to work more than likely. So I gain both benefits simultaneously. And if something does go off or wrong, then I report it to my doctor, and they can change it or fix it or do whatever because there's science behind it. Yeah, they're not cupping me. They're not putting hot rocks on me. I'm not lying on a bed of nails or having snakes bite me or having leeches drain my blood or bloodletting or any other nonsense that's out there. And it is nonsense. If it hasn't been demonstrated by science, and they're calling it medicine, there's a reason why they have to call it alternative medicine, and there's a reason why the FDA will never support it. It's because there's no test. They don't know what will happen. They're pretty sure when they have tested it, the results have been inconclusive or shown to actually be adverse or nothing better than a placebo. So you're gambling. What if that acupuncturist didn't clean their needles? Or doesn't use new needles every time? That's a danger in and of itself. You don't know. They're not licensed by anybody of any sort of thing. Yes, it's really easy to get a not chiropractor license. It's pretty easy to get that, but it's real easy to get an acupuncture license, quote unquote. You don't really need much. You don't need any education at all. So this stuff, you're really just, you're taking your life in your own hands, and it's it's a six-barrel gun where only there's one bullet, and you're playing Russian roulette. And if you play it with enough people, by the time it gets to your turn, it's pretty safe if somebody has already died. But if nobody has died and it gets to your turn, then it's probably not safe, right? But imagine doing that, but you don't know how many bullets are in the gun, nor how much the gun has in it, or if it has bullets or not, and how many people are playing or not playing. And also, by the way, sometimes the bullets can help you, and and it's like, and you haven't tested any of it. That's what you're doing when you take alternative medicine. Is you're playing Russian roulette, but you're blindfolded. You have no idea if anyone else is playing, and maybe you heard of someone that didn't die during it. But of course, the people that are selling you on that also want you to buy the gun. So, buyer beware. All right, let's go ahead and look at anything in chat that I might have missed. Let's see. Shiro has been studied a lot. I have no. Oh, Cairo. chiropractic has been studied a lot, but the conclusions of it are essentially inconclusive as far as I've seen. And so, and there is some woo that can be attached to it. So buyer beware. Um, Anti-vaxxers who talk about damage done have no problem with chiropractors who give instruction to people and even cause death. Yeah, well, anti-vaxxers are cuckoo nonsense anyways. They distrust our immune system's ability to learn how to take care of a disease that we're telling it how to take care of in a very low form, which is what a vaccine is. It's like, oh, just get measles. Well, that's what you get when you get a vaccine shot. You get a little teeny tiny bit of measles so that you don't get it later on and get really sick and die. Suction cupping, yeah, right. Well, suction cupping still is a practice in China, and TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, is not scientifically supported at all. Period. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Nothing. So, yeah, sure, drinking water and pretending that there's medicine in it might help you, but so might drinking water. Holistic medicine. That's what that is. Just magically wave your pills over your water bottle. Same effect. You're drinking water. Nothing. Why? It's nonsense. Um, so don't take medical advice from people on Twitter. Hell, don't take medical advice from me. But you know who you could take medical advice from? A doctor. A doctor who's gone to school. Well, how did the school know what to teach? Because of science. Not because of, well, I mean, this is what we've, this is a tradition, the chi energy moves through your body and blah, blah, blah. Look, the only place the Katras exist is in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But they're demonstrably demonstratable. So if it actually existed, we could test it. It doesn't exist because we can't test it, probably. Unless you develop a test that can show it, but no one's done that I know of, so it probably doesn't exist. Polygon scales or rhino horns. Yeah, right. There's a lot of woo out there. People do believe that crystals can heal you or do different things. And here's the weird thing about, well, there's a lot of weird behind it. Why? Why? Why crystals? Why? Because they're pretty? Because they're made out of mineral? Like, what about the crystal gives it that property? They don't know. And there's no way to know because there is nothing to it. But if it actually did work, or even if we thought it might work, wouldn't we just line our hospitals with crystals? I mean, if it even helped a little bit, I would think we would do that. I think it'd be like you go into hospitals made out of crystal. Why not? Or your treatment room would be lined with crystals if they work, with dream catchers in the window, and four-leaf clovers and a horseshoe up there and a rabbit's foot. Although why it's not very lucky for the rabbit. Okay. And then I guess we put the monkey's paw where we don't want good luck to be or something. I don't know. But yeah, all this stuff is nonsense because it's not tested. It's woo. It's based on superstition. It's based on this, well, I know someone that it worked on sort of thing. Yeah, whoopie doo. Or it worked on me. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. It means you got lucky that time. Next time you might not be so lucky. So, do the research, look at the science. Don't look at the woo websites because they're going to try to sell you against the science and against the known fact. And they're not going to give you all the facts. Of course, because they have a bias. You might say, well, science has a bias. Yeah, to the truth. So, anyways, that's all I've got. I'm done for now. Hospitals with geode walls. Right, exactly. Like, comment, subscribe, tell, Twitter, whatever you want with this video. So, I don't know. You know, that's it. Lobsters, medical stuff. Goodbye.